As long as memory holds, today's topic will be called Permission to be ET. So what we want is, first of all, understand the entire human race is a hybrid race for the purpose of surviving the Ascension game, because there were fallen DNA or recessive DNA in the mix. So our ancestors, the councils, I speak on behalf of all the councils here, is the correct term for the new life form that you'll have to understand. That is, first of all, is cosmic star being, starseed, or cosmic volunteer. Alien to us beings with that awareness is an offensive, discriminating word. It's racial. It's like the uncanny invader or invasion or foreign, which is what we are not. We're here to align the planetary frequency and bring energy towards the planet. We're not here to take energy from the planet. Understand, the actual invader is the ultra-dimensional beings that actually use other vessels to actually take energy from this place. Energy needs to come here. This is what this is for. So let's start with the patterns of hybrids and the type O negative, which is what I am, and I found certain things that are really, really interesting. And it's nothing glorious, it doesn't make me special or better, it's actually more problematic for us. Any other blood types have different patterns. You need to find that out for yourself. So I'm good at what I am, so this is what I found out. We believe that certain things we want to look at are come in form of patterns. And when you compare patterns, or you compare yourself to your own experience with my experience, we come to the conclusion there's something going on there that will make sense to you, or it doesn't make sense. So I was the only one in my class that was type O negative. When I was little, my house doctor always was saying it's rare, or it's an anomaly, or and but nobody really knew what it is. Science cannot place us by evolutionary chain of where this came in. Also, mind you, type O negative or rhesus negative means you have 0 rhesus monkey DNA in your construct. So Darwin is not even touching you with his theory, which is also something else. So you have 0 monkey DNA in you in the experiment of hybridization of the human race. So I believe there were 2 fractions of genetic experiments that the ET ancestral lineage did with us. One was to breed with the prehumans that are on the planet, and the other one was like to go really high tech in futuristic breeding, which is more alien DNA than you can imagine. Without that, we would have not made it. It's what I believe. And that's for all of us. Understand, all of us are hybrids. So, the blood types in the past, it come to my knowledge, if you were type O negative or of the kind, you had a certain magnetic aura or a certain voice or certain skills that you would have. For that, you got killed. So we learn to actually incarnate in hiding and not really present what we are or who we are. So we got killed over and over. Not to mention in the witch hunt, over 20 million witches got killed. They all probably, those with the actual supernatural skill, which is an ET skill, were slaughtered and killed. I think even the Bible mentioned before Jesus was born that the King Herodes had all of these special kids that they somehow they would know they wanted to kill them. Not that we're holy or we're blessed. It was actually a hunt. It was nothing glorious about that. So and that's just a theory. I have no proof here. This is just a feeling. Then also what I know is it's nothing glorious being that we're highly sensitive to light and sound. Sensitive overall to electric equipment. We can also make electric equipment go crazy. So that's why I learned how to learn to control my powers and my emotional bodies, because I know what I'm doing with electrical equipment. So my stuff all works because I learned to train the magnetic and electric resonance coming from me. I learned to somehow train that, and I know others when they're not really in touch with that and they need to train that. So I've also developed tools or modalities that you put on your electrical devices that protect you from actually you dropping your electrical emotion on the device, frying it. Also, let me see, our emotional body runs very, very deep, deeper than people can imagine it, like so deep analytically that you'd fry somebody if you explain to them what you feel. We are built very good, very, very effective in high altitudes or below sea level. We're not good at a low sea level. We don't function there. We rarely develop hypoxia, so climbing a mountain, we don't even need any extra medication. We can run over mountains easy because somewhat we process oxygen different than other blood types, meaning we need less oxygen and we process actually very good. Again, we are made to be in high altitudes or subterranean or below sea level. We're not good at a low sea level. We don't function geographically. We have more ills and problems with that. Also, we're also more suitable for work in outer space as an astronaut because we have less hiccups than a regular blood type would have. That's scientific fact. Then we rarely develop hypoxia. We are very sensitive to motion sickness. That has to do with because we are very, very interdimensional. So we're like kind of a little bit everywhere. What I noticed with the oxygen processing, which is very, very interesting, I didn't notice when I was diving and I got my diving license. We had 15 other students roughly, and after 15 to 20 minutes their oxygen mixture was used up and they had to go back to the surface, and the teacher was pointing up and pointing at the diving timer and said up. Then the assistant teacher was diving with me and I was the only one. My tank lasted me like an hour and 10 minutes, and he said that's actually very, very unusual and very, very effective breathing technique using the diving equipment. So I knew that I'm processing oxygen different, not just that I'm breathing slower. There's something here where I have more, where there's less oxygen, I have more to run on and I function. I don't get like crazy or cuckoo like when people go too deep or too high. I'm less susceptible to that. Also, my body temperature is lower than the average human body temperature, especially with rhesus type O negative. We have 1 degree lower than the average. So we are very, very sensitive to cold. Like if we get very, very cold, we don't like the cold. We like it rather to be a little bit hotter than cold. Extreme ADD, dyslexic, didn't know left from right because we come from the oneness. I'm being visited. I have an invisible friend. I have many visitors. I'm very sensitive to when the weather shifts abruptly. Very sensitive to that. That's very, very upsetting for me. I need my sleep routines. Very sensitive circadian rhythms. I need to eat balanced and heavy. Can't eat too light or too much smoothie or too alkaline. Actually derails us. Not good for us. We are extremely empathic. When we were young, we had a lot of allergies. We are a universal blood donor, but yet nobody can really donate to us. We get sick. We have a higher copper content in our bloodstream than the average human, which nobody can explain. Science cannot explain that. Also, let you know that I'm hybrid on all levels. The races that I've detected in me is Arcturian, Syrian, Pleiadian, Antaran, Essassani, a little bit of Zeta, Lyran, and Vegan. Did not find any Draconian, but mind you, the body construct, the stem brain is reptilian. It's a snake brain. It has to do with the Anunnakis were on reptilians and part where they were involved with the hybridization program. So they're part of it. We can't exclude nobody. They say that we have 22 strand DNA that has to do with either representing 22 cosmic races that are part are responsible for your braiding, or 33, depending. Yet we have to develop the technology to find that out. I mean, a scientist named Siam Chang already found out that the 97% of our DNA is of extraterrestrial origin. That's already scientific fact. There is no human genome sequencing in form of a GATA code possible there, nor can they find anything. This has its own coding and own sequencing. What you see in the back here is an Arcturian and an Essassani, just to give you an idea. Sculptures made by Cynthia Crawford, etsculptor.com. phenomenal because you can feel those statues, like they resonate, they tingle in your hands. Violence is not in our program. We're very good in defending and in defense, but we're not fighters. We're not looking for fights. We are not violent, and we are not aggressive or vulgar. That's not in our nature. Like, we kind of like withdraw from that when that is presented to us. So in our understanding, that's not really in our program to come here for war. It's to come to better the planet, to uplift the planet, to actually re-establish a timeline where we have more peace. Pardon for the noise in the background. That happens while I do my recordings. Also, when we have strong alpha levels, alcohol makes us sick. So meaning when your alpha levels are very, very predominant in your brain, you can't drink, you can't get drunk. It doesn't work with us from a young age. So with alcohol, just to explain that on the side, is basically when you have to be a little bit louder here. When you're an alcoholic, you have low alpha brain state, and you're compensating your depression with drinking. So when you understand that you have to balance out your alpha brain state, guaranteed, have that measured. When your alpha levels stabilize, you will not need alcohol. You won't go for it. You won't have the taste. So this was a quick rundown to do your own comparison and patterns of things that you go through. And this is to say, we don't have it light. We're not special. We have an emotional intelligence where we were laughed at, discriminated. We were outcasts, really not respected, and people attacking us. Always something wrong with us. And it's the racism beyond the racism. See if you find a pattern there in your life that you can compare if you are type negative or type O negative especially, and hopefully that clears up a little bit of what that means. To me, I know I'm Arcturian. I know I am consist of a genetic braiding construct even to exist in this reality, and hopefully that clears the mind for people that have problems with that. And yeah, Google that with the scientific breakthrough that they found out that the 97% of our junk DNA, interesting, you cut that out, there's no life possible, so how can you even call that junk, is dormant. And when you come into the right frequency, you'll be switched on. There will be a following video what that actually means to be switched on. That means, that explains with certain psychedelic access points that people have and don't have. Explaining, not that I recommend that, people that over what I studied with people that people did, is certain people take mushrooms, they're a little bit of high, a little bit of color, they don't see anything. And then others take mushrooms, they're in contact with extraterrestrial beings, interdimensional beings, they see elves, they see gnomes, full blown, they see the ships, full blown contact, they see gateways in the rocks, like interdimensional gateways that you'd have to shift your dimensional frequency to walk through solid confinement. And there are others, they can do any type of substance in the world, any mind altering situation. They don't see anything, they don't feel, they don't hear anything, and there's a reason why. In a video, how to be switched on, or the possibilities of being switched on, I'll explain what that looks like and how you actually activate the divine and original magic that lies within you. Thank you, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.